because like a dental issue is no joke, man. Like I was in pain, you know what I'm saying? It was one of the, not the first time, it was probably the second time in my life where I had to make, essentially, I had to see the dentist ASAP, right? Like it was, my molar was throbbing so much that it felt like there was this tremendous amount of pressure underneath my molar. So let me kind of take you back. So essentially what happened, I went to the dentist for a regular checkup and they found that one of my molars had a cavity in the molar, and the dentist was like, or hold on. So the molar already had a filling, and the dentist was like, so your tooth hurts this much and it already has a filling. And he's like, I don't see an additional cavity. And he goes, it's super cold sensitive. I mean, you could literally tap on my tooth. Like, we're not talking hard. And I was like, oh my gosh, that hurts. He put this like cold thing on it, and immediately it was like this just tremendous reaction. It was like, oh my gosh, that I am sensitive to that. And if you've ever bit into like ice cream and you get that like cold rush on your teeth, that's like a really like, oh my gosh, that's one of the worst like feelings. And that tooth was extremely sensitive. I couldn't even rinse my mouth out with water, like after using like after brushing my teeth, right? I had to make sure essentially I had to make sure the water was warm enough. Even just the cold water coming out of the tap was too much, you know, for that molar. And he's like, I think your molar is cracked, and we need, you know, to save the tooth, you're gonna need to put a crown on it. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever it takes. Like, let's just take, you know, I feel like I'm still young and I still have some money left to afford that kind of treatment, you know, with my insurance, right, helping me out. And yeah, I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's get the crown on. So essentially came back, had the crown visit scheduled, got the crown put on, the gold crown, without a root canal. And I was like, man, I already have a couple crowns in my mouth, and I'm kind of like, I usually got root canals with these, but I didn't question the dentist. And apparently you can get a crown in with, you know, your root still intact. And I guess so he put the crown on, and I would say it felt better for about a week. About a week it felt better, and all of a sudden I wake up in the one morning, and I just remember this, like I was outside eating pizza, and it felt a little weird, and I'm like, man, I gotta watch out chewing on this side of my mouth. It still kind of feels uncomfortable, but I wasn't in pain by any means. It was just sensitive. I wake up the next morning, and my mouth, the whole, you know, left side of my mouth is just starting to feel numb. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know where the pain was coming from. It was like, it was intense. And I just was like, oh my gosh, like I had to take some, you know, I asked my my Alexa device, like, what should I take for pain in my mouth? She's like, you should take ibuprofen. I'm like, all right, well, I have some of that. I'll take some of that. And it helped ease the pain, but it was still so uncomfortable. I had to avoid chewing on the left side of my mouth. And so basically this happened, and it continued for two days. And then on the third day, I'm like, something's wrong. Like, it's hurting even more. And then the pain got isolated over one of my teeth, and that was the tooth that had the crown put on it. The pain got isolated on that tooth specifically. I can literally reach my finger on that tooth, put some pressure on it, and it hurt pretty badly. It just hurt. What was weird was it wasn't sensitive to cold. it wasn't sensitive to heat. Like I could drink my coffee and it wasn't sensitive to it. It just hurt. And I called the dentist right away. Thankfully, they were open on that Saturday that I called them. And they're like, we have an opening on Monday. So I was like, yes, please. Like, get me in as soon as possible on Monday. I was like, I need this looked at. The pain was so severe that if I didn't take an ibuprofen, man, holy crap. But anyway, like, to put it in perspective of the pain or the pressure, the pain and pressure, it was like a multifaceted type of discomfort. But to put it in perspective, it felt like there was this tremendous pain and pressure under my crown, and the only way to get rid of that pain and pressure was to pull out my tooth. It was the first time in my life where I'm like, how do I resolve this myself? I gotta pull my tooth out. I'm gonna get some pliers and pull my tooth out. Obviously, I was just thinking that in my head. I'm not really gonna do that. But that's how much of a discomfort I was feeling in my molar. And I go into the dentist on Monday. He does the cold test. So he takes this like really cold, I don't even know what it is, like a cold, it's almost like a Q-tip looking thing. And he like dips it into some like freezing solution. I'm guessing it's like a dry ice solution, something like that. And he presses it up against, you know, some of my teeth. He's like, do you feel the cold? Yes. Yes. Do you feel the cold? Yes. And then he presses it on the gold crown. He goes, do you feel the cold? And I'm like, I don't feel nothing. And he goes, okay. And then he looks at the x-ray, because they had to take an x-ray of that tooth. And he goes, your root died. Like, your root's dying. If you gotta get a root canal. Oh my crap, man. And I asked him, I was like, don't you typically do root canals before you put the crown on? I guess I've had a couple crowns. Don't you usually get a root canal before you put the crown in? And he goes, no. He goes, not all the time. And I looked it up on the internet too. And the internet, there's a bunch of people saying no. Like, if you're gonna, you know, you could save the root and get a crown on too. I guess the two crowns I had, they had to get rid of the root. Like, that's how deep the cavity was. And yeah, basically I felt no pain, no cold sensation on that molar. And he's like, you need to get a root canal. So in my mind, I'm like, I have to wait even more to get a freaking root canal, man. Like, thankfully it started feeling a little better in my mouth. It was still uncomfortable. I couldn't, I avoided chewing on that side of my mouth at all costs. And he ended up referring me to another dentist. I guess it's endodontics that does root canals. And I didn't know the proper name. I'm not a dental freak, but endodontics does the root canals. And I ended up scheduling with endodontics. They were able to get me in. Gosh, how long did that take? I think that was that following Monday. So I was like, crap, I have to wait another week just to get my root canal. I mean, mind you, I'm not excited to get a root canal, but the molar was causing me so much discomfort. I didn't care, like, whatever it took. Get me a dang root canal. And it's interesting. I was like, well, how the heck are they going to do the root canal? I have a crown on. And yeah, so I show up to the endodontics clinic, and they're like, oh, your insurance isn't going to cover it. I'm like, wait, I still have money left on it. And they're like, well, no, it's showing us it's not, you're capped out. And I'm like, okay. And then I go to my insurance website, and then my insurance website goes, no, you still have, X amount left to use. And sure enough, I did. I still had like the amount left to cover, the percentage. I think they only cover like 40%. I think it's something like that. So I said, hey, look, I'm looking on the website right now on my dental plan. And they're like, oh, we must have missed that. Thankfully, like, I'm not mad at them. It's just like, man, it costs a lot of money, right? I have to find the means to try to get as much covered as I could. And I go into the endodontics, finally the dentist, the endodontics dentist. I don't know if that's still what they're called. I know they have a special title, but he calls me in. And it's kind of cool. This dentist had like headphones you can wear with like, what is it? You can plug in the headphones to your phone. It has like a USB-C port. And then he's like, yeah, do you want to listen to music while we're drilling your tooth? I was like, yes, please. Like, that is awesome. The worst part of the dental visit for me is when they start numbing your, gosh, just thinking about it, man. They start numbing your jaw. I don't know if it's still called Novocaine, but it's a numbing solution. But they start numbing your jaw. And they have to bring out this big needle. There was one visit I did at the dentist when I was like, I'm gonna watch everything, and I saw them bringing out this needle, and I had this like weird panicking moment where I've never had before. I started grabbing the chair and I was turning red, and I was kind of internally freaking out, and I've never experienced that before. So I'm like, I gotta close my eyes the next time. I can't be looking at this needle, you know. It's just. So when I was at the endodontics and he brought out, you know, I just said, hey, let me know when you're gonna bring out the needle, like just before time, and please numb my jaw, you know, numb the place with numbing gel first. And when he did that, I just literally kept my eyes closed and I just had the music playing. And then he's like, they always say you're gonna feel some pressure here, and like that's when you know they're doing it. And closing my eyes throughout that process and just going off in my own little world. That's the route to take. Do not stare unless you don't care, you know, unless you don't get a little anxiety once in a while. I get anxiety once in a while. But don't stare at the needle. Just close your eyes, go off into your own world. And it was so much better. It was weird. It didn't really hurt at all. The guy did a good job. But anyway, when they do a root canal when you're already wearing a crown, so I was wearing like a gold crown. You know, my molar was anyway. When they do the root canal on a gold crown, they drill right through the top of the gold crown. And man, they drill like you can feel it, man. They're drilling the top of the gold crown. They grind it off. It doesn't take much, actually, as far as I felt. The worst part of the root canal, though, is when they start jabbing inside of your freaking gums. Like, this guy was jabbing inside of my gums. He was trying to get the root. I guess he tries to get the root out and the pulp out. Like, he has to do a good job doing that, or there is a chance the root canal is not successful. But this guy was a pro, man. He just went in, did his business, and he got out. And he's like, all right, you're done. It takes about, what, a little over an hour. And then he seals up the crown after he's done. He uses this like filling solution to just fill it. So he drills through the gold crown and then does the root canal, takes out your roots, like 4 different sections of roots, I think it is. Takes out the pulp. It sounds crazy, but this is what you have to go through if you get a root canal. And yeah, after he's done with that, I think he takes an x-ray after, and then he fills up your oh, there's my cat. He fills up the, you know, almost like putting a filling in the part that he drilled for the root canal into the existing crown. But yeah, that's my story of my my tremendous amount of molar pain and having to visit the dentist and the, you know, specialized endodontics. And getting a bill yesterday in the mail. This is only the dentist bill, by the way. There was a separate bill that I already paid for the endodontics, and man, it's not cheap. It's not fun, but I hope you enjoyed listening to that.